Yeah, it's not a very simple question to answer. It's quite complex, and there's no one answer to it. So, I would say what happens in the nation reflects the mood of the nation. What's happening in Telangana today is reflecting the mood of the state. When you say we want to go global, it's a global summit. It is not just back ending and creating facilities, studios, and technology. It will also mean a lot of front ending because we need to then sell. We need point of purchases. Um, how to create future storytellers. I was just speaking with Alu sir and I was trying to propose to him, let's start a school for writing. And I was telling him after I finish making what's in my hand right now, which are 3, 4 films, I want to devote the rest of my life into hanging out with youngsters and the young talent and the next generation, and to understand from them and to cultivate the seed of writing. Once we have very strong writing, see, we are all still enjoying the fruits of what Ved Vyasa wrote in Mahabharata or what Valmiki wrote in Ramayana. We are still, monetizing it in one way or the other. TV, cinema, this, that, movies, adaptation. We need to bring back that. So for me, the writer is the first hero of the film, the first star of the film. Then we start building on other things which are behind the camera and in front of the camera, other skills. But that needs to come, and for that we need a very proud nation. Nation that believes in itself, nation that believes in diversity, nation that believes in coming together. It is a diverse nation. We have a lot of potential, but as long as we come together as, one mutti, not spread out. So there's so much to do. And it's such a humbling experience to come here and share the platform with the stalwarts of Telugu industry who gave birth to, they're the mothers. They went through the labor pain and they delivered. And what a baby they've delivered. Guys, hats off to that. Absolutely. Yeah, I can't hear claps. And there's so much to learn from that. But there's also a lot to learn from the mistakes we have made. And so that we don't repeat them. Because we'd be foolish if we repeat the mistakes we've done earlier. Uh, rest all is rhetoric, I think. We need to follow the visionaries and the leaders that the footsteps they created. Now we need to create our own paths, not necessarily just follow them. That will be monkey business. So we all keep talking about Korea. Uh, the Korean story is not a story which was just born in Korea. Korea exported its culture slowly and surely and gradually. And once the seed was spread all over the world, they started watering it, they started giving it the right sunlight, the right proteins, vitamins. And one day, boom, it exploded. It didn't happen in that just one moment. It took them number of years. So let's start doing that. It's a lot of hard work.
So speaking of stories and speaking of writing, I think we can all say Malayalam cinema right now is leading the way. We have Asif here. Asif, I want to ask you, Telangana is supporting filmmaking for years. Now the government wants to make sure that it's a one-stop shop for all the technicalities of making sure films are made well. But how do you imagine being able to come in and tell a story which is based in your homeland? Come here, tell the same story, and today we have the audiences willing in the entire country to enjoy it. What is your expectation or your excitement to see this kind of cross-cultural amalgamation and pollination of energies that is happening?
എല്ലാവർക്കും നമസ്കാരം. Arjun, for us, especially the Malayalam film industry, Hyderabad and Telugu industry is like our backup plan. Our everyday shooting essentials like you say the most advanced camera to the most newest lens to be the rig, everything, we depend Hyderabad and Telugu industry. So we are literally counting on this industry. And yeah, I want to say you guys are already 20 years ahead, and we are looking forward to a beautiful collaboration. And thank you so much for this invitation. I'm so honored. Cheers.
Alu Arvind, I would like to ask you one very simple question. Pan India, this terminology that is used now so freely with everything that is happening. I think we have to give credit where credit is due, whether it is Bahubali, whether it is Pushpa, whether it is all these films that have come. I think where Rakesh speaks about writing, imagination, thought process, the Telugu cinema industry has led the way by experimenting, by taking chances. And today we see the government also being so supportive. How do you see us being able to learn from your writing, from your making, from how unified you are as an industry, because that is something that we all want to take back home and bring together and tell better stories. And the government supporting you allows you, I think, to enjoy the fact without being scared, without being worried about how to make films happen, the big budget films or the small budget films. I think what's very special is the government and the film industry are in sync. How has that happened, and how do you see that benefiting the kind of stories you wanted to tell?
Can you really hear it? I mean, whatever he speaks in this feedback speakers, we could listen only 50% of
The
it.
speakers
Are you really listening to what we say? Thank you. At least you are in a better place. Because his question, I am struggling to understand and reply. So, Prabhat, I'm taking his help also to understand that.
I can try again.
How? Your question is like how such a big films are being made here and how the cooperation of the government and the industry
Yes.
is going together. That is the question you are asking. Thank you. The films which have gone global, we should understand one thing is they all started from very local. Take recent films like Kantara and Pushpa. They are produced from a Chittur village story and a Karnataka small village story. They have taken it very local and made it sincerely, and it has become global. We should not try to make Transformers and Avengers. No. We should try what is a great story in Hyderabad, what is a great story in this matti, and try to make it big and project it to the rest of the world. That will click. The very principle of getting focused and doing it the best will take you the long way. That is what is proved in the recent times while taking the films global. And the next question is what he asked is how the government is so cooperative here, and right from the beginning, right from Channa Reddy to the present Chief Minister, everyone is very friendly. We are very fortunate to be here. Very friendly with the film industry. Our film industry, as Suresh told, that we were there in Chennai and we are only 25, 30 years old here. I tell you, when we were trying to make films here 20 years back, we were struggling. We were struggling. Why we have come here was the starting regrets. But from there, here today we are seeing, rest of the world is coming to make films here. That is the kind of cooperation that has been brought by the government. And without cooperation of the government, this could not have happened. And we are very happy. Every government should take the film industries or the cultural the forms to this level, which all of us should learn from Korea. 30 years back, they have put a seed for the culture to be told to the rest of the world. And after 30 years, we have seen our children are singing Korean songs. When we go home, it's only Korean films are playing. We don't have the space. We have to go to our bedroom and on and see our films in Netflix. Korea is such a dominating. They have started it 30 years back, and now it's giving fruits. Likewise, we have to take our culture also, start taking it in a big way, and it will reap fruits after decades. And we should start it. Thank you.
Sham sir, continuing from where Alu Arvind Garu was saying, you were talking about taking cinema global, but we have to be local to go global is what everybody says. Would you like to add to what sir was saying?
Yep. I believe that cinema is very, very, very powerful. It's not just, I don't think it's just entertainment. It's something more than that, something way more than that. It is very powerful, and I believe it is bigger than political power, it is bigger than economic power, it is so big that it has the power to influence society. It is the greatest, most powerful influencer. That's how I look at it. And I think that we need to not just only attract cinema to Hyderabad, especially after what we have done to our regional cinema like Triple R, Bahubali, Pushpa, Kantara, all these films. We should also take our films globally, take it across. In that context, I would like to talk about, I would like to give an example for better understanding. There is, before 1985, there is a Japanese dish, Japanese cuisine called ramen. It's a original, authentic noodles, which is very popular in Japan. The rest of the world never knew about it. They never knew about it. It was not popular. It was not there on any menu. It was not offered in any of the Japanese restaurants. But it was popular only in Japan. And in 1985, they made a film. A film came out by the name Tampopo. It's a comedy Japanese film, and the story is centered around the Japanese relationship with their food. To make it a bit more detailed, the story is about a hero and his relationship with this ramen dish. He made a film, and the film was successful, and it went on to release in United States. And when it released, it got rave reviews. It got rave reviews. It was appreciated. It became a cult film. It was exposed to the international audience. They started talking about it. They started getting curious about it. They wanted to taste that noodles. And then slowly it spread. It became popular the world over. And last year, just that one noodle, which was introduced to the world through a cinema, had a gross sales of $58 billion, which is bigger than the budget of our state. Just that one dish. That's what is the power of cinema. 7 billion out of that was from Japan, and the remaining 51 billion was from the rest of the world. So I very strongly believe that cinema can go across borders faster and easier than any other product. Any other product. I would say that cinema is a cultural ambassador. It can take our culture, our fashion, our lifestyle, our drama, our stories, our humor, our aesthetics, everything to the world. So I believe that that is the power of cinema. I believe that we should also start focusing on that. How do we take our cinema to the rest of the world? It can contribute in a very big way to our economy. 100%, definite. Because any cinema goes straight to the heart. It doesn't go with a propaganda. It goes with a story. It goes with an emotion. And that emotion is an experience. And that experience is a pleasure. Anything to do with that pleasure, associated with that pleasure, the viewer takes it home. He remembers it. So therefore, I believe that cinema is very powerful. And now that we have started going onto the platform, we have directors like Rajamouli, we have directors like Sukumar, we have directors like Rishabh Shetty. So we should work towards that, take our cinema internationally. But we are not great at packaging, presenting, marketing. Therefore, I think the state government should step in, start establishing those cultural centers and help us marketing our projects. So I think that is the way to go about it. Not just attract, also take our cinema international. That's it. That's my view.
So
Thank
I
you.
think speaking of cinema and language not being a barrier, I'm sitting here with Ritesh, who has now become a director himself and directed in Marathi. Where regional cinema is concerned, when we speak about I think the biggest success we've seen in the recent past is Kantara, a man who's, as Suresh sir was telling us backstage, he lives very short the film. He's gone back and taken people back there to shoot a film, tell the story about a rooted part of his culture, and the country and the world has embraced it. So Ritesh, I wanted to ask you, what kind of skills and technology do you need eventually to be able to actually take a story that is based in Maharashtra, to shoot it here, to make sure that the audience, even in Telangana, enjoys it, the audience in Punjab enjoys it? How do we break this language barrier? How do we break this cultural barrier that I think perhaps a Kantara has done so well in the recent past? Because Bahubali is still a mythological story in that sense. Pushpa is still the angry young man coming to the fore with the core emotion. But the cultural stories that we want to listen to, we want to understand, and we want to really respect. How can we take that to the entire nation?
Um, First of all, thank you so much for having me over here. I want to thank Honorable CM Sir, Deputy CM Sir, for organizing this wonderful global summit, and to have great minds here, and to feel that I was capable to sit here. First of all, thank you so much. My journey started from Hyderabad. I'm happy to say that I'm a product of Hyderabad. My first film, Tujhe Meri Kasam, where Ginili and me, both of us debuted, was produced by Sri Ramoji Rao. And everything I learned, my first experience about filmmaking, was from here in Hyderabad. I learned about work ethics. I learned about how films are made. I learned about how people are treated. I didn't know anything about filmmaking. But my foundation itself was so good in terms of dealing with people who are so professional, so respectful, and so inclusive. That is one thing that Hyderabad really inculcated in me as a person, and I'm extremely proud to carry it with me for the last 22 years as an actor, a producer, and now as a director. Talking about, I have, Ginil and me, primarily we have produced Marathi films. That's where the language that I'm born in. It's an industry. When you talk about Indian film industry, it started with a Marathi man, Dadasaheb Phalke. And one man's vision in Mumbai. And when we spoke last time that, industry, a lot of people from all over the country came, and it became like a boiler for filmmaking. It became a hub. It became something much more important, much more like an ambassador to cultures. And it has, like Sham Babu said, it is practically the biggest influencer that we have world over. And when we talk about cinema, primarily, I'll come to what you said about Marathi films being made. Yes, regional films, some industries have struggled and gained success and became big global phenomenon like Telugu, like Tamil. Hindi was already a hugely successful industry, and they are the main drivers. But when we look at Marathi industry, primarily because it comes from state of Maharashtra, where we already have an existing Hindi film industry. So when it comes to choices, in Maharashtra, people's first choice is always a Hindi film. The second choice is a Marathi film. So when a Marathi film becomes the second choice, it is extremely important that you have less chances to attract that audience. Then you have to be very sure what kind of films you're making, how can it be culturally rooted. Like like Arvind sir said that, it's important to go local. And of course, if you are connected with local, emotions will connect and eventually global will happen. But if you're not local, if you don't connect with the people's heart, nothing's going to translate on big screen or influence people's minds. Yes, I agree that as an industry, when we look at what's happening in uh, the summit here or the proposition of cross-cultural boundaries being erased, that is very important. Why is this more or very exciting? Is because it will be a hub not only for Telugu industry. We are talking about a hub for all India or people from all over the world to come here and interact with each other and see what we can give each other, what we can learn from each other. It's very important that we have a place, and unfortunately, even even in Maharashtra, we or Mumbai, we have very fragmented places where we shoot. We don't have an interactive or integrated city as such that can really inculcate talent, nurture a future generation, and help each other excel. Sir said that um, like A.R. Rahman sir said, it's not about giving something that's good. How do we excel? And if each of us tries to excel in what we do, we will create a global product. And that is what we need to really teach people. And I truly believe that skill sets are the most important part of this industry. And primarily, when we talk about slightly off, but in our industry, a lot of people think working on the job is learning, and it is. I'm not saying that it is. Be it production, like production is such an important aspect of it. But we need institutes to teach people how to produce movies, how to manage people. We think, okay, one person joins the film, he learns the ropes, and we have the grades. Of course, I'm not denying that. But if we teach all these things professionally in an institute, then we'll have far more superior talent coming in and making things better, making things more easier, streamlining things for us to excel in. And that does not mean production. I'm talking about even direction, every aspect of it. That is something that we really need to, as skill sets, really develop. And when we talk about Marathi films, I've of course worked in Hindi films and producing and directing Marathi films. I think erasing the regional boundaries is very important, but at the same time, upholding your cultural values, where we each have our own inherent cultural values that we can come together, that we can impart with each other, collaborate with each other, and it's give and take. That's what I think, and this is the place that promises to be that, and we are very excited to see what future for cinema holds, starting from Telangana.
Moving to Zoya and Genelia both, I think Zoya, first I'll come to you. I think in the beginning of the summit when I was talking, we spoke about, I hate using the term women empowerment. I think it's just about acknowledging the fact that over the last couple of decades, we've had women in front of the camera and now women behind the camera. I think our industry in that sense has started a lot of that conversation for many, many years. And now when we speak about the summit today, they also want to make sure that the ecosystem and environment fosters more behind the scenes women feeling excited, intrigued, curious to learn, to adapt, and to be part of cinema. As somebody who's been a torchbearer of being a filmmaker behind the scenes, and as an actor who's worked in both Hindi and Telugu and regional cinema, what can actually be done to make sure that more women, more girls, more young girls are excited and intrigued to come and be part, not only in front of the camera, because that will always exist, because there is a certain amount of beauty that comes with it and a certain excitement, but even just to be able to be a storyteller, because abroad we see So many fantastic people who are producing, directing, writing, I mean, show running. So I think it's the tip of the iceberg. I think we have to empower women and girls to start believing that they must and they can.
Firstly, thank you for having me here. I'm really excited to be here. I absolutely love this question. And here is somewhere where I think the Mumbai film industry has done very well, which is created a safe environment where women can work behind the camera. There are sets that are sometimes more than 50% women. We have women in every field, not just directors and writers, but we also have women in lighting now, women that are grips, women that are shooting films. They are everywhere. I think it starts from the top, and the top is here, so it's a good place to start. I think in Bombay, what happened was the biggest production houses and the biggest stars started working with women directors. Whether it was the Khans, whether it was Ritik, whether it was, they all started working and signing films with women directors. And that really broke a glass ceiling. The big production houses, YRF, Dharma, Excel, all of them started using women directors, and it sends out a message. I think that's very important. I think half the audience is female, half our life is female. So their worldview is very important. Their vision is very important. They see the world differently. And you can only make better films and a industry by involving them in the process. Having said that, respect. I think for women to come in and work behind the camera, they need to feel valued. You can't dismiss them. You can't be like, you don't know anything, you're a girl. No, she knows a lot. You know what I mean? She gave birth to you. So have some respect. And basically, respect and safety and opportunity. That's all.
Janelia, I think the audience is dying to hear from you.
Um, Firstly, I would like to honestly thank Honorable CM and Honorable Deputy CM for having me here. I mean, Hyderabad is home and it'll always mean the world to me. Telangana, some place where I started my first film, and then also the first time I produced was also back here in Telangana. So I think what the place does is makes you feel very secure and very wanted. Like Zoya saying, very often as women, if you don't come forward, it's because you don't feel that you're holding a position of power. But this city encourages you. It opens its heart and opens it's very, very welcoming. For someone like me who came from Bombay, I did some of my best work here. Not that I didn't do in other industries as well. I'm very grateful to have been part of a lot of industries. But I got a chance, like I wanted to do something more and I got that chance here. I'm honestly very grateful that I was a recipient of 2 Nandi Awards here, which is an honor for me when a state, gives it to you. It means more than a lot more awards because it comes straight from the people and straight from the government, and I think that is very, very welcoming to someone like me. Speaking as a producer, strangely, when I started off, I used to be the only girl on set very often. I was the only girl, but the strangest thing was my first film was produced by a woman herself at that point in time. Satyam here was produced by Supriya, and I don't know whether you're here, Nagarjuna's niece. And she was brilliant at her job. And I would look at her and wonder, like, I would always feel alone sometimes because I was, the only girl on set, and whether it was your crew or whether it was always men. But there was this one woman who was taking it all on, and I wondered, someday maybe, maybe I'll want to do this. Many years later, of course, we're here and the industry has opened out to a lot more women, and a lot more women are coming out and telling stories and being part of cinematography and being part of a lot more things. But the encouragement needs to start with each one of us, I think, and with a basic thought that I can be worth it. Like, I think as women, we underplay ourselves as well. We need to come out and say that we can do it. And someone like Zoya is brilliant. She's changed it for most women directors, I feel, yeah. And I think that's what's important. While you have an example, you also have a belief, and that's how we grow this industry. And I think the men in our industry are very lovely. They're always there to support. It's sometimes a little bit of saying that I want to do it, and another person saying, "Yeah, please come." That's about it.
You know, and since we are talking about taking Indian cinema to the globe, if you look back, I mean, of course, there was Mr. Rajamouli and the fantastic vision of RRR, but there was also All We Imagine Is Light. And that was like a beautiful, quiet, soft film, Payal Kapadia, that has taken the world by storm. And it's about two Malayali nurses made in Malayalam by a Bombay girl set in Maharashtra, and it broke all barriers and it was distributed in India by Rana, Sir's son. So that's another way to look at it. It's not just always the big vision, it's the quiet stories. Whether it was Meera Nair, whether it's Girls Will Be Girls, whether it's Santosh, these are all female filmmakers. And there is interest in what they have to say.
Exactly. I think that's a great example that you've given that already shows that we can actually go across the so-called creative borders don't exist actually. Sir, talk about creative borders. Bengali cinema has been so imperative and so important to shaping our culture. What is your take home today when you're sitting here and hearing everybody speak? What do you feel? I think Bengal has been the starting point of lot of art, lot of cultural curiosity. How do you see the government being able to enhance the prospects of you coming here perhaps and shooting regional films, Bengali films, or even using stories from here to take there and make?
See, emotion is universal. The way I cry, a person in Sweden, he also cries like that. Or somebody in Bankura, a village in West Bengal, he also cries like that. We have to identify stories. That's the most important thing. Now, the synergy between a government, a filmmaker, a studio, and technology. Where there is friendship between all these guys, it can be fulfilled, whatever you are dreaming. Unfortunately, I come from a place where money was a problem. When we used to, I had to do more than 500 advertising films sitting in Calcutta for Bangladesh and Eastern region and make some money, bought my camera and made my first film, Onur Onun, which I shot in England. And the way we grew up, it was a very cosmopolitan environment. There was a person from Chennai, then Madras. There was a person from Maharashtra. There's a person from England. There's a person from Jalpaiguri. So we used to get stories from the atmosphere, which was flying here and there. Now, the problem, when you make a film, you dream, but it dies before it starts taking shape. Where is the money? So when there is a corporation or when there is a state who can give us incentives, give us technology, because now a lot of things you can do. You can create a set and you can do a lot of things digitally. You identify a story or make a cross-culture film. Like you make a film like Frantic, a man and a woman who has come from Burdwan for honeymoon in Charminar, and the woman gets lost. And then what? So we can dream about that when there is a support by the state. We come here, we shoot a very rooted story, a story which has double root, which is story has a root from Kolkata or from Bengal. I live in Bombay also. I've started making small Hindi films. A Mauritian man, who will. There are a lot of opportunities now how we deal that. And another opportunity we require, we are filmmakers. We don't believe in ROI. We don't know ROI. Art has to be patronized. When Birbal used to sing, Akbar didn't think of ROI. How much money Birbal used to, play jokes, or Tansen used to sing. They Akbar used to patronize that, or when Michelangelo used to paint, the church took care of these things. Our problem is we have to think of ROI, we have to get money, we have to execute a film, which becomes very heavy, or it's tough. So if there is a body who will take care of Every film has a market. Buddhadev Dasgupta, one of the most renowned filmmaker of our country, told Anirudh, everything has a market. You make a film of X budget, there is somebody. Y budget, there is somebody. But you have to know the market. But that's not my job because I'm not good at that. Everybody is not good at everything. I can't play cricket well, but I play table tennis well. So if this kind of collaboration happens with the stalwarts, like everybody, all of you here, then sky is the limit. Load of things can happen. Load of things can happen. I will I will uh, give example of Zoya's film. I'll tell you why. Zindagi Na Mile Dobara. A week back, I was depressed. So my wife told me she produces most of my film. Let's watch that film. So you went to Spain. We knew about Spain tourism, but you talked about Indian values, of urban Indian values, their crisis, their, their introspection in their life. So we can always do that. That's very important to go to places, make a film, rediscover, unlearn, learn, and let's do experiment. And that there is a state or there is a body, there is a community who will take care of you, which is very important for artists. Filmmakers are also artists. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I have just one simple question to the three producers who are here, taking a cue from you. We are here at a global summit, and we talk about films, and having been producing and learning, the costs are just escalating. Everything